KOLs marketing in Web3 is probably one of the strongest marketing tactics that any project can implement right away. But the truth is that most projects in Web3 fail to use KOLs the right way. Millions of dollars are getting spent weekly on KOLs campaigns, but most projects are not maximizing their campaigns, and this is just costing them to burn marketing dollars on unnecessary campaigns. So in this video, I'm going to break down how to use KOLs the right way, how we've done this for all of our clients. So you can see here some of our results. You can see that, we work with a lot of the bigger KOLs in the space. Here's a little bit of analytics for some of the recent campaigns that we've ran. These are a little bit smaller, so 46, 20, 40, 30 posts. But our average CPM is under $65, while the industry average is between $100 to $300. So before we dive into this video, our team has ran multiple campaigns for projects over the last couple of months, bringing in over 10 million impressions through KOLs campaigns. So this is me. I'm the founder and CEO of Webflow.io, and this is a marketing firm where we help projects with their go-to-market strategies, but I don't want to dive too much into that. I want to go straight into kind of the sauce of the video. So, if you're a project founder and you're struggling to get results with KOLs and want to bring more traction to your brand, then this video is most likely for you, right? So some of the things that I'm going to show you are how to find creators to work with, how to connect with them, and the exact scripts that we've used to actually outreach to them, how to work out the best deals with them, how to keep creators active, because it's probably one of the hardest things that a lot of projects out there are struggling with, and the exact KOL brief that we use for one of our clients. So I want to actually dive straight into it, right? So how do we find the right creators to work with? By the way, this is going to be a raw video, so I'm just going to go straight to it. There's not going to be no edits, no cuts, anything like that. I just rather keep it raw and just go into, all the info that we have here. So how to find the right creators to work with? There's mainly 4 types of creators you can work with, right? So you have the gaming creators, the educational creators, the alpha guys, or the shit posters, right? So these are some of the main 4 that are pretty much out there that you can work with. So some of the gaming creators, they only focus on gaming projects. They make video content around games. They most likely have their own community. Sometimes talk about upcoming tokens. They don't really like talking about tokens much. They rather stick to solely specifically gaming. The educational KOLs, they talk more about projects in detail. So this can be like a full thread, a full long form breaking down exactly, exact points about a project. Most of the time, they're more trusted creators than most of the other ones in here. They're more exclusive to work with, and they do deep breakdowns on why a project might be good and why you might want to look out for them. So the reason why I'm breaking these down for you is so that as a project, when you find your ICP, you can then pick which creators you want to work with. So far we have gaming creators, educational. I want to break down some of the alpha guys, right? So some of these guys talk most about projects earlier on or at an earlier stage. So if you're a project that's at a pretty early stage, you might want to target some of these guys. They focus a lot on speculation, right? So this was why they're not so trusted and they're not as exclusive to work with, because these guys work usually with a lot of projects. They talk more about tokens and why it might be a good buy or why it might go down, and then they're good to drive volume. So these guys can be good if you're specifically wanting to drive traffic to a TGE or to your NFT, to your mint, to your secondary volume, etc. So these might be good for them. And then shit posters, right? So they don't really provide much value to their audience. They focus a lot on the memes and degen plays. They get a lot of traction on their page, but the truth is that majority of them are just not that quality community that you might want to target. And they help drive volume and tap into a more degen/gambling audience. So depending on what type of product you're building in Web3, you might want to focus around these 4 types of creators, right? And you might want to pick and mix, right? So like you might have a gaming project. You want to target some of the gaming creators to bring in some actual gamers, while also targeting some of the alpha guys to talk about the token, the NFT, to bring in more volume, to bring in a little bit more volume. And then you want to keep it very exclusive with the educational guys who are going to, do those deep dives, and like for the real investors that want to invest in your project long term, they're going to be able to go to these creators and get a lot more, impact information. So depending on your project, you might want to target a specific niche, as I mentioned. My personal suggestion would be to work with a lot of different niches so that you're able to drive volume to a certain activation while focusing more on your ICP. So like I said, I would probably just target, let's say you're a gaming project, I would target mainly gaming creators. But then I would also try to target some of the other, type of KOLs in the space so that you can just get as much volume as you can, because as a project, you want to drive in as many people as you possibly can. So that's, how you find the right creators to work with. So depending on your project, you just pick one of these four, and then I'm going to show you exactly how to connect with these creators. So there's two ways you can connect with these guys. So you do cold outreach, or you hire a team with these connections already. So if you already have the budget and you don't want to spend much time doing cold outreach, maintaining these relationships, so going the second route, so right here, might be a little bit better for you. So this is the easiest way you can build out these relationships, onboard a team that has spent time to nurture these relationships and is able to facilitate these connections. So for example, when we work with a project, we've been nurturing these connections with the KOLs for over 2 years. We consistently work with them. We consistently bring them deal flow. So it's easier for us to get these KOLs on board, potentially at a cheaper price than the public might be able to get them at, because we've worked with these guys. So if you already have the budget, I would suggest you working with a team, whether this is a marketing agency or a KOL manager. I think these are probably like the best ways to go about it. So some of the benefits here, you get speed. So depending on if you value speed or not, this is a great opportunity to kind of like buy back your time in a sense. You're able to get direct access to the biggest creators in your specific niche. You get better rates because these creators have worked and trust these teams. And this is this strategy is for teams who have the capital to invest in these teams and value time and speed. So as I mentioned, these are some of the benefits that you're able to get when when you just hire a team that has these connections already. You're able to get cheaper prices. You're able to get more connections at a faster rate. So if you do value time, you do value, like that exclusivity that you're able to work out with these creators, like I would probably just hire a team. But if you don't have the funds or the capital to hire a team right now, I would just go cold outreach. I mean, we've all done it, right? Like our team, the reason why we have these connections now is because at one point we cold outreach to these creators, we build that relationship. I mean, like I said, it's been 2-3 years, so it takes time, right? But if you don't have the capital, this is probably what you have to do. So this is specifically if you're an earlier project that doesn't have much traction, or even before marketing has kicked off. You will need to cold DM these creators to get in their radar. So a lot of these creators are being reached out to on a daily basis, being presented hundreds of projects. So your goal is to just stand out from them. So here's the exact cold outreach script that we've utilized before to get in contact with some of these creators, right? So this is for some of our clients as well. So, hey name, I love the content you've been making around X. So if they're a gaming creator, hey Jonah, I love the content that you've been making around Wilder World. We're actually building an X style game, and I'd love to show you some behind the scenes sneak peeks of what we're cooking and give your community early access. Let me know if you're around sometime to connect on a call. So basically the goal here is just to get them on a call, share with them the vision, share with them the product that you're building so that they can get more bullish, they can get more interested in your product. And that's how you actually stand out from being like one of the hundreds or thousands of projects that actually tries to work with these creators. So this is an exact cold outreach script. You can just copy and paste this, implement it into whatever niche, whatever your product really is, and just send this out to projects, KOLs, right? So that's exactly how you want to get in contact with them. Like I said, this is going to be a lot more time consuming. You're probably going to have to get a multiple calls with these guys. But I think it's worth it at the end of the day, right? Like you're able to build these relationships long term. And I think down the line, it's going to be a lot better if you have a closer or tight connection with some of these creators. So now, how do you work out the best deals with these guys? So to work out the best deals with these creators, it's going to be time consuming, as I mentioned. You're going to need to find a way to stand out for them, since they're getting approached by hundreds, if not thousands of projects weekly who are trying to leverage their brand and reputation to bring traction to their projects. So these creators just want to get rewarded for their audience they have curated, and they understand their worth, while sometimes some of them are overvalued. As a project, you need to work with these creators, but the truth is that you're going to have to spend weeks, if not months, nurturing these relationships and building trust with these creators, and create a compelling offer that rewards the creator and their community, but just doesn't break the bank. So what we found is that there's 4 main ways that creators want to get compensated. So you have their community. They want to compensate and give back to their community. Obviously, you have cash or stables, tokens and NFTs, and exposure. So these are the 4 main things that we've noticed creators like to work with. So community. Most of these creators have their own community and they all want to bring more value to them. So this is where you leverage some of the whitelist spots that you have, some of the early beta test, some of the the earlier access to your product. You're able to leverage these and be like, hey, I'll give your community access to this if we're able to work out a deal where you talk about our product. So depending on the size of the creator, some of them might actually be down to do just for the community. Some of them might be wanting to do a mixture. So this is where, let's say, the cash comes in, right? So this is pretty self-explanatory. A lot of creators just want to get compensated for what they're worth. And a lot of them are actually just going to want cash for it. So this can be stables. I mean, the prices do vary a lot, anywhere from 200 to all the way up to 1500, depending on the activations you want to do with some of these guys. But we have two more things we can use to our advantage to leverage and work out better deals with these guys. So we have tokens and NFTs. So if you're able to provide creators with special investment rounds into your token or even free tokens depending on activations, and also leverage offering them some free NFTs, if this is something you have coming up, this is where you're able to really work out deals with them. A lot of creators, if you're building a great product, they see the vision, you have good backers. Most of them will actually be very happy to actually invest in your project. And since they're invested into what you're building, they're more interested in making content around it and making it a success. So if you have a token launch and you're looking for investors, talk to some of these creators you've been in contact with, try to get them on calls, explain to them the vision, see if they're interested in investing, offer them cash, offer to give back to their community, and then last, offer to give them exposure. So a lot of these creators just want to grow their brand. They always want to keep growing. They always want to have better content, grow their community, etc. So if you've been able to grow a decent sized community and you have a good Twitter account where you're able to provide retweets, quote tweets, let's say if you have a SocialFi platform and you're able to offer them as a quest, most of these creators will actually be happy to work out a deal. Let's say you have a creator, they're looking for $1,000 for a video. You're like, hey, we'll throw in 2 NFTs for you and we'll retweet your post. Most of the time, you'll probably be able to get these creators from 1,000 maybe down to, let's say, 300 or 400 if you're able to do a good mixture between cash, tokens, NFTs, exposure, and giving back to their community. Like, you will most likely be able to work out a really good offer with them up front so that you're not breaking the bank. So based on what we've worked with creators, this is how we truly get the best deal. So these are the 4 things you can probably it's 100%. We've done this multiple times. These are the things that you can leverage to get better deals with some of these creators if you don't have that capital. Now, how do you keep these creators active, right? This is where a lot of the issues come in, right? So creators are being presented many projects consistently, so it's hard to keep their attention on a single game or project at the same time. So there's a couple ways that we keep creators active for the clients that we do work with. So the main thing is, first of all, you have to have a quality product. If the creators don't see the vision in your product, they're not able to get their hands on it, actually test the product that you're building. Most of them are just not going to be interested in the long term because they've never actually used the product. So before you even go to these creators, majority of the time, you want to make sure that you have a good product. You have the product able to be tested specifically by these creators. This will be one way you're going to be able to stand out because a lot of the competition truly just doesn't have that product ready. So if you have that, that's going to be one great way. Another thing is that if you keep getting their community involved, they will most likely be interested in working with you. So this can be open tests. You can give them whitelist, tokens, anything that provides value to their community. They're going to keep you top of mind, and they're going to keep collaborating with you, actively interacting with some of your tweets, etc. And this is how you really make that, that difference, right? So all the things that I mentioned here, if you're able to compact them together and provide this all together to KOLs, like this is how you really keep them engaged. So if you have a good product, you give back to their community. And lastly, you give creators consistent access to early updates, tests, creators tournaments, or anything that involves them with your game. Even if it's not a public activation, then that's how you really build those relationships with them. Because imagine, right, you have a game, you're doing beta tests, and every time you do a beta test, even if it's not for a public activation where these creators have to make tweets about it, you're giving them access. They're actually able to test the game and see the improvement, see how the team is improving their game. They're going to be more likely to keep an eye on your project just because, they know that the team is working. They know like they've been connected with your team for quite some time. You're giving back to their community. They're always going to be, more willing to kind of give back to you. So far we've covered some of the main things, right? So how do we find creators? You got to first figure out your niche. Then you target these 4 creators. How to build those connections. So you do cold outreach or you hire a team that has these connections. How to work out the best deals. You have 4 things you can leverage: community, cash, tokens and NFTs, and exposure. So if you're able to build a good offer to bring these creators, mixing in these 4 things, then you will more likely be able to work out a great deal with some of these guys. And last, we've covered how to keep the creators active. So as I mentioned earlier, I want to give you the KOLs brief to make sure that your objective is met. This is an exact copy that we use for some of our clients. This is a structure that you're going to be able to copy and paste. So if you are able to build the relationships, you provide value to the creators, agree on compensation, but aren't able to clearly express the goals of the campaign, then all the work you've done for the last couple of months is pretty much for nothing, right? That's like, hey, we've nurtured these relationships for months. We're finally ready to do an activation, but we can't give creators a clear vision of what the activation looks like. Then the whole work that you've done, it just goes unnoticed. So you want to create clear call to actions for creators to follow, and you want to provide them with the right information so that they know what's expected from them. You don't have to chase them around to make sure that they push forward the narrative that you want. So we created a simple Google Doc that you can just copy and paste. Literally, you can just copy and paste this document. All you need to do is fill in your information so that you have a clear expectation set for creators. So this is the document. I'm going to actually open this for you guys, walk you guys through it. And then at the end, I'll have a little surprise for you guys. So pretty much you can just copy and paste this. Your project name, the campaign details and overview. So here you just want to provide a detailed explanation of what the purpose of this activation is, with context and details about what the objective is. With this push, whether that's a single tweet, videos, quote tweets, etc., you just want to have clear, you want to set clear expectations for creators to kind of follow here. So you want to make sure to include a deadline and add a clear call to action for creators to make their own write-ups based on the information provided for them. So that's the first thing you want to add in here. The second thing is the key information to be mentioned. So this is where you actually get to control the narrative that you're pushing with these creators, right? So you want to make sure that you're adding exactly what you want the creators to talk about here. So I created here a couple of things that you can go off of. This will vary depending on the campaign that you're running, but some of the things you want to touch upon is what is your project about, some of the key achievements. These are going to be metric driven. So how many users do you have in your platform, how many Discord members, the growth that you guys have had, etc. Achievement regarding investments, advisors, etc. So this might be like, hey, the team raised $3 million from XYZ VCs, and we have XYZ advisors on board. So this is just always bullish for creators to be like, hey, this is a good team. They have good backing. So that's really good to add details around TGE or mint. So this is like dates, utility, etc. This does vary depending on if you're doing a TGE or a mint campaign. Here you have key information around your product. So any other information that you might want to add for creators to touch upon, you want to make sure to add that here. Then we have here another kind of paragraph or two where you want to talk about your product. So this will depend on the certain activation that you're doing, but here you would ideally want to talk about your product. For example, if your goal is to pretty much just drive traffic to your TGE, you would then just talk about token utility, staking, when you're launching, tokenomics, all these things. If your campaign is more focused around a play to airdrop campaign, you would want to talk more about tokens being allocated, perks of participating, how long is it live for, and any other important details. So this is just going to really depend on the exact activation that you're doing, but that should give you a clear idea of like some of the things you can talk about here. Here, just any more information that you feel might be necessary for the creators to work around. Just feel free to drop that here. And then at the end, this is very important. You want to have important links here. Some of the most important things is you don't need the Discord, the X account. Most of the creators are already going to have that. But the most important thing is the pitch deck, the product link, and the media kit. So this is where creators are going to be able to go get more information about your product that might have been missed here, or might be something that they want to talk about that's not in here. So you want to just make sure to have all these links necessary for any KOLs to, to pretty much base themselves off of, base the campaign off of. So the last thing I will mention here is that when you're sending these out to creators, you want to make sure to give them to make it clear that this information isn't to just be copied and pasted for them. This is information that they can utilize to make their own write-ups, to make their own content, etc. But this is information just so that they can have an idea of what narrative the team wants to push forward, so that they're able to provide a better service for you guys. So you can pretty much just copy and paste this. It's pretty much here in the document. I'll probably drop it either on the link, or as I told you guys, I might have something for you. So since you made it to the end of the video, I told you I'll be giving away the exact content brief we use for one of our clients when running KOL campaigns. So what I want to do is actually give you access to the full Mara document. So basically, this whole document I've just gone over, I want to give it to you guys so that you can have it whenever you guys might need it. So you can always go back to it, find any information that you might need, and pretty much just access this document that's going to have the project brief, so that you can just send this out to KOLs, copy and paste, put in your own information. So if you want access to the Mira document, breaking everything down in the exact copy paste content brief you can use when working with these KOLs, just send me a DM on Twitter, or I guess X now. This is my handle, OXF1, or I guess 0xF1, and my team will forward you this full document so you can share with your team and utilize it when you're running a campaign. So if you want to book a call with our team as well, go to just webflow.io, fill out an application, and our team will pretty much just be in contact with you, check over your KOL campaigns, what you guys have been doing, what you guys could potentially be doing better, answer any questions that your team might have. And if we're able to work something out with you guys, we're more than happy to discuss it on a call. But other than that, guys, just shoot me a message on Twitter if you do want this document. It's pretty much just going to have all the information here for you. Everything that I've gone over is going to be this exact page. You're going to have full access to this document where you're going to be able to just copy and paste your product's information and send it out to these KOLs. So other than that, I'll leave you guys to it. I hope you enjoyed this video and you find this somewhat valuable. And yeah, don't forget to just shoot me a message on Twitter, and I'll be happy to send this over to you guys. Peace.